Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Terra Tech. And on tonight's episode, we are going to be continuing where we left off. Now, for those of you who may have missed the last episode, we did quite a few things. We actually got a new scrapper, we got a GeoCorp scrapper, so we can take apart a few of those items. In fact, we're going to go ahead and give that a shot. And we're going to try to make a few items that we don't already have, such as this one right here, the GeoCorp AI module, which is a block that for whatever reason has slipped through our fingers, but we should have access to it by now. So we need to find GeoCorp items that we do not use very often. Now, the plating is definitely something that I don't use very often, so we're going to go ahead and throw that down, and we're going to see what we get out of that. Now, all these seem to work on picking themselves up. The items, you don't need to drag and drop them in there necessarily. They will work that way if you want them to, but, you know, it's a little bit easier just to kind of throw them on the ground. Just make sure that they're not within range of any of these items, such as the SCU, because they will override each other, and sometimes, most of the time, the SCU will win that battle. So we're getting a few items out of that. Nothing we absolutely really needed, though. And of course, if you're ever wondering like what you'll get when you go into those items, you can always click on some of these things to see what the recipe is involved in. This one's pretty much the same thing. This one would be pretty nice to go ahead and do. Girders would be nice. Girders I don't really want, and it will give me some of those. Yeah, so I guess let's see if we can do some of the girders, which we don't have any of the pieces for, apparently. How about lights? We can get rid of some of the lights. Lights are something I don't use too often, and I think these would give me a few of the silver refinement pieces that I could really want. Let's go ahead and put these right here. We'll put all of them down, because if I really need to, I can just buy some more. And you can see right there, they're going into the SCU. The SCU wants a little piece of that action, and this one got stuck right there, so let's go ahead and drag it right back over here. And they are giving me both refined and unrefined versions of these pieces right here, so that is going straight into there. Let's go ahead and take off repeat. This will make one more, and that is it. And I think it just did. Yep, there it is right there. So let's go ahead and snag that, put that on there to get charged up. And the rest of them will come over here and help make this one. It needs 3 pieces for that, and I think that is going to be the last of those that it needs. There we go. We got a new cab right there. A AI module, actually, and we throw that on here. This thing will be able to operate on its own. I won't say fairly well, but it will at least be able to operate on its own. I've never really liked those AI modules yet, so we'll just have to give them a shot. But let's go ahead and make one of these. That's something we have not made yet either. We're just kind of filling in the blanks here, guys, getting rid of all the items that we haven't had access to, so that at least down the road, if we need them, we can. Now, really the only thing I see that we could possibly want more of right now is maybe some of these if we really want to go exotic. But I think battery packs are gonna be the thing, and they're just so expensive. Maybe even a remote charger. Could go with a few remote chargers so that this thing could charge a little bit faster. Let's go with 2 of those, maybe. Let's see if we can even make one to start with. We may have to put on a lot more silos, and that's something that we've never really had to mess with, to be honest, is having a lot of silos on our ability to change things up. And so let's put this over here. If we can change the direction, if it will let us, there we go. That should be good. And if we can come in here and make some more conveyors, in fact, just stick it on repeat to make as many conveyors as possible. GSO conveyor. Let's do this repeat. That's going to use a few of the items that we have, and it's going to be perfect for us because that will allow us to extend this out a little bit. I'm thinking maybe we'll come out just 1 or 2 more silos this direction, but the wall is going to stop us from going any further. And then we could either change this to go into like an L-shaped, where it comes out this way, or we'll just keep going down this way. I do kind of want to go down towards that direction, but at the same time, I'm looking for a geyser. Like, it'd be amazing to find a geyser where we could build our base, and maybe we'll move our base here in the future to a place that has one. I originally set up over here because it's on a hill. I thought this would be a good place for a castle. We had a little ability to sell down there when we first started. There's a decent number of resources in this area, but there's no power to be had. So that may or not may be a thing in the future. I don't know. We'll have to kind of mess with that and see how well it works. But for now, This thing is continuing to make more. It needs a few more of those chunks. Unfortunately, I don't think it can unrefine these resources once they've been refined. So I think that's as much as it's going to do, because the other ones are all refined chunks. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. That'd be interesting to see if maybe down the road they give you the ability to have, I don't know, just like an unrefined version of that block, so that you can take them apart when you need to, if you've already made the, I won't say mistake of refining them, but you've done it. You know, like it's already a thing, and you just need to take it apart. Especially as people start using more and more of the base pieces now that you can use to, you know, recycle things into pieces, and it's becoming more of an actual thing. Like it's actually worth it for you to do that. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted, right underneath my bot. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's put this back up here. I think we're going to go with 6 this time. We're going to leave 2 there. That should be more than enough. We're going to take some of these with us just in case we need it. And we're going to take the small charger and leave the big one here. There we go. Alright, so let's go off and kill some of these gangland guys. What are we stuck on? There we go. Boosters, guys. Now we are very front heavy because we have these giant megaton cannons. Now you can see I didn't add any more than I started with on this one time. The last game we got a few of them that we picked up during the fight. We also got a whole bunch after the fight. I didn't pick up any of those other ones. They're in my SCU, but I didn't put them on my bot because I still want this stuff intact, at least somewhat. And I think three of those megaton cannons and the rockets is giving me the ideal number of blocks. Not giving me all of them. That's definitely not going to be possible when you're hitting them that hard, but at the same time, it's not destroying too many of them either. So unless they're very weak blocks, and sometimes the weak blocks you want the most. In those situations, you might have to design an entire new bot to take that guy on, and be very careful about where you fire. You may lose a lot of pieces in your arsenal. I used to do that way back when there was a bot that had like fuel tanks on it or batteries, and there was really no other way for you to get those. Like you didn't have grades before a certain point. I think maybe like 4 months ago there was no such thing as a grade. You didn't level up. You just got access to pieces through fighting and destroying mobs. And I am getting stuck with these things on there. I'm gonna have to get rid of those. They're just a little too close to the ground, I think. Ah, come on. There you go. Come on, pick it up. And you guys are dead. Alright, can I move, please? Not yet. Come on, pull that stuff off of me. There we go. There's the giant tractor pad. This is what I was waiting for. So let's go ahead and snag that. We'll put those there. And look at that. Now that that is off of me, I can move once again. Let's come back over here and snag the rest of these. That way we can just bring them back. Not that this guy is easy to move, but I think it should be a little bit... Yeah, a little bit better, huh? Not even close. I can't even move again. Oh, man, that is not the right spot. It's just going to get those wheels snagged again and again and again. Can I move this yet? How close do I got to be? There we go. Let's move this back this way. Come on, back it up. Back it up. Show me what you're working with. Nope, not going to do it, guys. Little bit of humor there for you, but no, I'm not going to sing. Sorry. Let's see. We need to go off in that direction. So if this thing would hurry up and pick this stuff off of me, you know, I'm kind of considering putting it somewhere else now, because these big GeoCorp blocks, they're just, they're too big, especially when one of these wheels gets stuck in there. Just stops me dead in my tracks. I think maybe up here on the top wasn't ideal, but we'll give it another shot. We'll just see if that works. If not, maybe we can raise it up and put it up on like a higher up plane so that it has the ability to pull all the way up there. Now, when we release it to be sucked up through the SCU, it's going to cause all sorts of a mess, and items will get stuck underneath their wheels maybe, but we'll kind of run to that, or, you know, go at that once it becomes an issue. For now, we're just trying to make sure. Come on, dirt destruction. You're so small to be causing me all these hassles. I think I got a mortar on that one, which is definitely something I want. Come on, pick them all up, baby. You know you want to. Oh, is that a... That is a booster. I'll definitely take the booster. I'll put it on right now. We'll put it right over here. That way we have nice way of getting up these hills when we get stuck, and we will get stuck, guys. Our guy is kind of a behemoth in a lot of regards. There we go. Now, the fuel doesn't last too long because I have no fuel tanks on here, but that is definitely something we can make a few of if we decide to. I was really hoping to get the giant fuel tanks from the GSO before we start making those, because you know those don't carry an enormous amount of fuel, but they do carry a lot more than the little tiny ones, and it seems to be easier to put those on there than the little small ones sometimes, because you know normally I build this with a GeoCorp, and GeoCorp are the exact same size for the one block as it is for a fuel, whereas the other ones, they need to be connected to something on the base, and that's the only piece that can be connected to something. They're a cylinder, and the cylinder does not allow anything to connect to it. So when you're putting those down, you got to have blocks all the way around them if you want anything to be connected to it. So it kind of sucks. Whereas the big one is kind of the same thing. You do have the bottom base piece, but I believe the top works as where you can put another thing on it. So you can just stack them on top of each other and then surround the entire thing with blocks for extra support, extra defense, because they are very, very vulnerable to being destroyed, and you probably don't want to leave them out in the open because they do a chain reaction. If one gets destroyed, they all pretty much go in domino succession, and man, it's nasty for your bot. It's like bombs inside your bot exploding and just knocking everything out in like pretty much every direction you can possibly imagine. And you don't want it. You don't want that, guys. Trust me, I've gone through it. It sounds bad. It sounds painful. It's even worse when you got to go through it because you got to rebuild that. Nowadays, not so bad if your entire bot is destroyed. For a small amount of money, for a fraction of the amount of money that it would actually cost to rebuild that bot, you can have it instantly give you another one. That is very much on the forgiving side of this game. It didn't used to be that forgiving. And because of it, you learned some hard lessons back then. So I do like to see it kind of getting a little easier, though, for some people, because, man, it can be pretty rough when you first come into this. And when I first got my my nephew to try to play it, he came into it, I think, on the worst patch possible, because they had been talking about upgrading the spawn rate of the invaders. They also been talking about upgrading the rate on which bad guys would spawn on the map. And he came into it at a time where, when I was actually playing the game and I was very familiar with it, I wasn't able to survive longer than maybe 10 or 15 seconds on the map before I was annihilated, and that never stopped. Because everywhere you turn, there would be 5 more mobs spawning on the map around you, and then there were invaders spawning again and again, and there would be invaders actually falling on top of one another just because they were stacked up all over the map. And if you didn't get lagged out in the game, you just got taken out so quickly that it was just, no, there's no way you're going to play the game. And that's how he came into the game, and he was like, I don't really like this one, so he never went back to playing it. I think that kind of experience is not what they were shooting for. Obviously, they've changed it since then. They've made it easier, and I'm kind of grateful for that. I know some of you out there who are like, oh, I liked it hardcore, I liked it being more challenging. Definitely has a place, it does, but I think the audience that reaches may not be the audience that they were really hoping to go after as much. So yeah, I think that's just the way it's going to be, guys. And if you're looking for more of a challenge, then maybe somebody saved one of those old games on the patches, and you might be able to go back and try it that way. I didn't, but yeah, I definitely have video evidence that that's how it used to be, and it was kind of interesting, definitely, to give it a shot. I wouldn't say that's how I would like to see it go back, to be honest. I'm pretty fine with it the way it is. But yeah, it's gone through so many changes. Cutting down trees. What else do we got? Crystal Harvester. We got Hostiles. Let's go with we got Hostiles, because we still got a little bit of shields left, and it's money. It's money and it's resources, and it allows me to go back and build more stuff that we really want to do. And I know that some people are building these really tall, thin structures for their bases that look like guard towers. Those are really cool. I definitely enjoy the way they look. But there's one thing that I always wanted to build on this game, since I saw it in the Steam store, and I'm like, oh, that looks really cool, especially when you can build the bases. I always wanted to build a castle that my vehicle, whatever size it is, could drive inside. Now, I know that you can't build mechanical pieces where it will close the gate behind it or anything like that, but if I can build like a little ramp, which is definitely possible with the armor pieces, because they are in that ramp configuration, and I have the ability to build the walls. I just need enough pieces to do so. Then it's just a matter of, you know, putting my effort into it and getting it done and getting the pieces I need for it. So this time around, that's definitely going to be something I'm shooting for. It's just something weird and zany and crazy that I've always kind of wanted to do with this game, but never really pushed myself to do. So definitely will this time. You are about to blow up, aren't you, my friend? Yes, you are. Oh, and he went into build mode right before, too. We still have this guy left, so let's go ahead and see if we can destroy him while all that is being picked up. Come on, destroy. Yes, you are. Nice, okay. And it's dropping all these other pieces, so let's see if we can get out of the way so it can pick all that up. What else did you get? You got some decent pieces. Nothing fantastic, but nothing horrible either. So what we could do is we could wait until that thing picks up everything, or we could come back around and see if we could snag all that stuff ourselves. I'm thinking we'll do a combination of the two. We'll wait for it to snag everything, and then I'll put this thing down and let it do it all over again. There we go. Back it up, back it up. You will not let me go straight back. There we go. And we'll snag that one. Come on. There you go. One more little piece, and we should be good to go. Come on, grab it, guys, grab it. I do kind of wish that I could transfer power to this, though. You know, just speed up that transfer of getting it going. If we could get multiple power sources in there, then might have something to do. Like, we're all the way out here in the salt flats, too, because there's just nothing to refine. There's nothing to harvest out here that we're looking for. I think that's why we're stuck on this one, or set of missions, I should say, to refine all that stuff, is I've been looking for them, but yeah, they're not as common out here, and this is where we chose to have our base, out here in the middle of nowhere. So maybe we should have chose to have it a little closer to the grassland, at least to get through these missions, or do multiple bases. There's no reason you couldn't have 15, 20, 30 bases on the map. It just comes down to lag. How many bases can you have in an area before you start running into your computer lagging out on you? And that's something, again, you have to figure out for yourself. Oh, come on, you can do it! You still not dead? There you go. There you go. Okay, let's drag this into all of this mess right here. Now, most of the time, this would be stuff that I just leave behind. Like these mortars, I really don't like mortars as far as weapons go. But now that I know so much of these mortars are used for the materials that I'm looking for, like I'm just going to refine or recycle those things like crazy. So it's really, really nice to have that aspect of the game in that actually works. For a long time, they didn't have recipes for, I would say, the majority of the blocks in the game. And the recipes that they did have were fairly simple and straightforward. Didn't really go into depth in giving you the stuff that you could actually use or want to use as much as they do now. I think they've gotten a very good handle on what blocks people tend to go after first and most often. And they make those not the hardest to get, but not the super easiest to get either. And then there's items out there that people don't really go after very often, and those are still fairly difficult to get. But usually by the time you go after them, like, you have all the ingredients you need. Oh, look at this guy. This guy is just going down. Those missiles, man. Oh my god, I'm so glad I didn't put more of them on there. They're amazing, but they make things way too easy sometimes. And you're still stuck in there, aren't you? Yep, there you go. Finally destroyed. Not very much survived. That last little barrage, that last little hurrah of him exploding tended to knock a lot of that stuff off. There we go. We're going to get a few of these pieces kind of pulling in, but that's alright because it's going to drop it all here in a second. And this one actually lined up to where it almost looked like it's connected, but it's not. That is just the gravity right there holding it in place. There we go. Come on, pull it all in, baby. Almost. Come on, get the other ones. Nice. Does seem to have a short delay on like what items it's picking up first. Let's check these, see if there's anything in them. I don't think there is. I think these are just regular rocks. Come on, there you go. Yeah, that's just destroyed. Anything in these guys? Nope, just regular rocks in that one. Dang it, just regular rocks all the way around. Yeah, there's nothing to find out here. We got some trees. Let's see if we can at least destroy a few trees. Oh, that didn't take very long. Giant megaton cannon for the win, I guess. Just one direct shot, and I can't believe it actually got a direct shot, because they're usually not very good aim when it comes to hitting things of that distance or that size, but it did a perfect job of hitting it too. And then, like, just exploding all of the resources as far away from us as possible, so we couldn't get any of them. But you know, we don't really need them. If we wanted to, we could definitely have. We have the space on the back of our bot. It might be something we do just for fun, especially if we're going to be going after trees here in the future. But one of the things we could do is put a generator on here and have those pieces either refined into more. I don't know if I could do the refining on here. I think those still need to be anchored down to the ground. But if they're possible to have them refined, turn them into better fuel sources, and then have those eaten into actually, you know, getting into electricity so that I can power my batteries a little bit better. You are going to go down, my friend. You just don't know it yet. Oh, spinning around and getting jumped from behind. Not a good feeling. And by the time you get a hold of the situation and actually manage to turn around, you've already lost, like, your whole bot right there. I know that feeling right there, guys. That is, it's pretty horrible. They aren't really that good most of the time, though. They used to be, though. So I know they could jump and upgrade the AI to be just absolutely hostile to you in every meaningful way. And it would make the game very challenging. And I think once they throw multiplayer in there for the AI to not look really gimp, and I'm not, you know, trying to insult them and being like, oh, these guys are so easy to beat. I think they're fine. I think they're fine for what they are in the actual story mode. But when you start getting into fighting other players, you're going to have to upgrade your bot so much more offensively and defensively that when you go against, you know, just these regular bots of the game, they're going to seem like pushovers. And the only way to get them to be harder than they are is to make them, you know, react faster and stronger, and maybe even let them cheat a little bit so that their blocks do more damage, or their blocks take more damage, and that their weapons are able to do more damage. Kind of reminds me of the old, like, Mario Kart days. I don't know how many of you guys out there played the original one, but they used to have it where, you know, you'd knock somebody out of the race. It's one of those racing games, for those of you who have never played the game at all. It's one of those racing games where you would race around the track, and whoever got into first place would win. You know, you'd get the highest points for that round. You do like 3 rounds, and the winner over all 3 would get like the golden cup or something. They used to cheat so bad that when you hit them with a shell or, you know, rocket or whatever you want to call them, they would fall out of speed. You know, they kind of skid out, and they would have to rebuild their speed back up and get back up into first place. And if that was you, when they hit you with those weapons and knocked you out of contention, you were pretty much out. If you were playing on the hardest difficulty, you were pretty much out of the race forever. You could just never catch up with them because they would never make a mistake. They would never skid out. They would never bump into a wall. They were playing the game perfect. And when you knocked them out, though, when you hit them with a red shell and they were out of your screen, the moment they were out of your screen, they initialized cheat mode. And 2 seconds later, they were right on top of your butt again in a way that was just not possible because you hadn't made any mistakes either. And yet somehow they caught up to you. They passed everybody else. The only way to stop them from doing that, which is why we know it's a cheat, is that if you were playing with a second person and you kept that other person in your view when they fell back into last place, they couldn't just magically alter their presence and zap from last place to first place like they would if nobody was watching. Because somebody was watching, it changed their programming. But the programming was in there to make it that difficult on you, so it would be a challenge. I think that's something they could throw into here and do the same thing where they cheat, and you know they cheat, and you know that you could prove that they cheat, but it makes the game enjoyable, so you're okay with it. Or you can kind of bypass it a little bit and come over here and take on a base while we're taking on an invader? Sure, like, why not? That seems like a perfect thing to do when I'm almost out of power and everybody else is just smacking my butt here. So yeah, let's see if we can get in and out of this fight as fast as possible, because I don't want to take on an invader with no power. And yeah, that's not going to be a thing. That's not going to be a thing we're going to enjoy. So let's go ahead and let's see, what are we going to do? We're going to have to throw down some power here and kind of recharge up. So let's go ahead and put this thing down while we're waiting. We'll get those pieces taken off of us. We'll put down our reactors because it is daylight outside, so we can use these. And we'll go with our wireless charger, the only one wireless charger that we have, which means I should be able to throw on some batteries here, and it should go ahead and take some of those out. And we can destroy that guy while we wait as well. But guys, I think we're going to go ahead and end the episode here while we're charging up. On the next episode, we're going to continue exactly where we left off. We're going to go take out that invader right there. Hopefully, we have the power to do that because he does have shields on, which means you have to get through his shields. Hopefully, though, with the advent of our new megaton cannons, these are the ones right here in the front, these have explosive force on them, and when they explode on the shield, the explosion actually goes through the shield on both sides, so it will go on the outside and on the inside and hit some of the blocks down there. That helps to drain the power very quickly, and if you have enough of these megaton cannons, that one explosion all going off at the exact same time may actually destroy those blocks in one hit. Doesn't happen very often. You need a lot of megaton cannons for that to happen, and of course, once the shields go down with that much force just on the explosion, not actually the impact but the explosion alone destroying blocks, then when all that hits an enemy, it usually just disintegrates them and there's nothing left. So you have to decide again, do you go with something that has more power than you need and not get as many blocks out of it, or do you kind of sit there and whittle them down and hopefully be able to reap all the rewards from it? It is a very hard choice sometimes, and sometimes you got to go with more force than you would like, but in the end, comes down to your choice, and hopefully you guys make the right one. As always, I'm AC Gamer, and I will definitely catch you guys next time. Hey guys, and welcome to the disembodied voice of AC Gamer. We are definitely going to be doing a lot more series in the future, but here are a few of them that you guys might find interesting. Of course, you're more than welcome to check them out. I would love to hear your comments. Again, if you do enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. It's definitely the indicator that I use to tell if you guys want to see more videos like that, of that particular game style, of that series in the long run. So when you guys leave comments down, it helps me decide whether we should keep doing it, as well as whether you want to see games like that in the future. And here are a few of them right here. I kind of picked out a few of different genres. We will be doing spotlights for other YouTubers in the future, so if you want to get a little shout out, definitely let me know. If you group with me, chances are you will get a shout out in here eventually. But for now, these are just 4 series that I have that I feel like could use a little bit more attention and that you guys might actually enjoy as well. Thanks again for watching, guys, and we will definitely catch you all next time.